Well, hello and welcome to this week's Auto Addict. So what have we got in store for you today? Well, no, it's not the pug, but this. Auto Addicts. So what is this? Well, it's a 1974 Cadillac Superior Hearse. And as you can see, parked next to my Peugeot, it's bloody massive. So here it is in all its 26 foot and 3 ton beauty, and what a beauty it is. As you can see, it's not exactly in its mint condition. It's a bit of a rat rod. This one's painted in a Raptor bed liner, so nice and hardy paint, but I think it's wonderful. It's got that real sinister look. The back end treatment was changed a little bit for these 74s. You ended up with the lights in the bumpers rather than just in the fins, but you know, it's still a good looking motor. There were several manufacturers of hearses. You had Millimeter and Superior and a few others. This one's Superior. Obviously, if you want to know more, feel free to Google. And again, the front end treatment of this is 1974 only. Cadillac back then did tend to make tweaks every year to make each new model year different, and this is the 74 front end, and quite an intimidating front end in your rear view mirror. Obviously that is not a standard Cadillac hood emblem, but quite fitting, and obviously you've got your light marker lights there on the wings, or fenders I should say. So back round the back, you can see you've still got a bit of tail fin left here at 74, and the Superior badge obviously, but the bulk of the tail fins were gone by this point. If you look in the back here, you can see quite an ornate side coverings, and sort of almost, I don't know, Art Deco uplighters there. The Americans did sort of do these things properly. Big old casket there, and these are very heavy, so obviously we have some rollers in the floor to help roll it in and out, and then these adjustable bits here stop the casket sliding out when you're accelerating up the road. That would be very undesirable. Big old heavy metal casket there, and a partition there. I'm not sure what that was about, whether they were worried about the corpses tapping the driver on the shoulder, but we have plenty of storage, little cubby holes here and there, and again some more sort of ornate stuff. And obviously all hearses of this period had to have the Landau bars, with some quite dangerous looking spikes, and of course the fleur-de-lis. I'm sure there's a reason they all had it, but I'm too lazy to Google it. So in the front, obviously you've got keep fit windows, door handle, some fake wood, got these lovely sort of embossed wooden panels along there, should you need a hearse in the UK. And along the top there, obviously you have your Cadillac emblem, an old school clock, and all your idiot lights are along there, along with your fuel gauge. Down on this side we have our wash wipe, our lights, and our climate control. Along with the speedo, your gear position, although it doesn't appear to work in this one, and this has had some separate water temperature and what's that, vacuum pressure or something down there added in. Radio delete blanking plate there, and on this side would have a mirror adjuster there, your thingies, and to get out literally just lift that up, your Cadillac wheel, and a big bench seat with an armrest. Behind the seats there is some more storage, as you can see down there, and again obviously the partition there to stop the dead working their way into the vehicle. As you would imagine in one of these, we have headroom for days, so you can get your top hat in. View down the hood, you can just see the telltales there and there. I said unfortunately this one they don't work, but they would when you put your indicator on. Thusly this flashes, but you would also have seen a flash down there. Lovely. Well, I know you like all see an engine, so here we are, 472 cubic inch, 7.7 litre V8. It's not a massively powerful engine. 205 brake horsepower, which is really pathetic out of an engine this size, but it is 365 pound-feet of torque, right down the bottom of the rev range, so it's that will pull well. As you can see, this one would have had aircon, that's long gone. But yeah, lovely units. They were replaced, I think, in 76, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, with the 500 cubic inch V8, which is 8.2 litres in English money. That was better suited for the EPA new emissions regulations with catalytic converters and stuff. The 472 wasn't quite so well suited for all that. But yeah. You've seen an engine now, so let's carry on driving it. First thing you have to remember is there's a lot of vehicle both in front and behind. So let's slowly pull out of here, and away we go. The steering is ridiculously light. It really is just so light. It's not the most direct, it is quite vague. Some of that will just be down to age and wear, but I wouldn't imagine these were ever the most. The speedo is quite accurate actually. I'm showing 31 on the speedo and I'm doing 28 on the different side of the road, so it's fairly accurate. But so there's a bit of a, you have to adjust it, you know, keep adjusting the steering, but it is just incredibly light. To be fair, as you'd probably expect from a Cadillac of this vintage. You do get lots of looks. Some are admiration, some are just sheer terror. Some people just look absolutely horrified seeing this driving around. Others just love it. I'm obviously one of the ones that loves it. Generally I think pays to have the armrest down because it does wallow quite a lot, and this is a very slippery vinyl bench seat, so the armrest could well be a good place to stop you going into the passenger side on a hard bend. But it just, I mean, at 30 mile an hour here, or a little bit over, we're nearly 40 now, although we're slowing back down to it's barely ticking over. And as for the bumps, it's perhaps not quite as refined as perhaps a sedan would be. Remember, this is on a commercial chassis, but it basically, it just punishes, it just crushes everything rather than floats over them. It just destroys them, just crushes them. It's nearly 3 tons, this car. Gentle acceleration, you know, it actually gets up to speed probably a bit quicker than it feels, because it's just such a large vehicle, just such a relaxed drive. It doesn't really ever feel like it's getting up to speed, but actually, you know, it got up to 30 there relatively quickly. Remember, while this may be 3 tons, it is still a 7.7 litre V8 up ahead. But it's very easy to place. I mean, it may be a massive car, but certainly with those telltales on the wings there, or the fenders, sorry, it is very easy to place. You can see both corners of the car very easily. So you always know exactly where it is. It's actually a very easy vehicle to drive. Oh, she just wallows round the bends. While I'm passing, I'm just going to nip into Tesco's and get some bits I need, and it'll be interesting to see the reaction of some of the other shoppers and whether I can find the space big enough. So you get a bit of a rough road there, you do feel it. So this is a commercial chassis, as I said earlier, but on the whole it's still a very comfortable ride, very wallowy. Obviously you're not going to win any drag races with it, and you're certainly not going to be airing round the back roads like a Colin McRae wannabe. But it moves. I mean, I'm not obviously really hammering it. It's not my car. It may go quicker if I really boot it, but you know, we're up at 60. It moves plenty quick enough. Getting the tram lines left by the lorries, you have to just pay attention a little bit to what you're doing, but you know, on the whole, so why do I like this so much? It's big, it's thirsty, it's, you know, it's comfortable-ish, but it's not, you know, sedan DeVille comfy. So what is it I like? Well, I love the reaction from other people. I don't love idiots like that overtaking when in stupid places, but nonetheless, I love the reaction from other people. Some people it's sheer joy seeing it out on the road. Other people, absolute terror. They look horrified seeing it. So that I like. I love to see different reactions. I love driving anything different, and this is definitely different. But also, if I remove that gasket, I can fit a Sinclair C5 in the back of this, and what better way to carry a Sinclair C5 around than in a 1974 Cadillac Superior Hearse. It is indeed the superior way to carry a Sinclair C5. But it is just so easy to drive. So the steering is just so light. You soon get used to how the steering, the waywardness of the steering, which I'm used to with other vehicles. The visibility is great, as I said. You can see each corner of the car. The back, probably not quite so much, but it's not bad by any means. So let's have a ride to my favourite bit of road, just see what it's like on there, because I can then compare it to the other vehicles I've tested on that same stretch of road. You do also have to remember it's quite a large vehicle to get around some tight bends. Even on these smaller back roads, I'm not worried about driving something this size because it is just so easy to place. And when it's the sort of undulations you've got in these, it does just sort of waft over them or beat them into submission, one or the other. When you get more of a sort of corrugated type road scarring, you do feel it a bit more, but it's okay. Obviously the most famous of the Cadillac Hearse would be the 59 Hearse ambulance that was used in Ghostbusters as Ecto 1. There are several copies out there that do not use the 59, which is just wrong, just plain wrong. If you're going to do a copy, do it properly. However, I will concede the 59s are now a lot of money. But this is definitely my favourite era of the hearses, these sort of late 60s, early 70s. There's something about the roofline I just think makes them that much more sinister looking than the earlier ones. This one especially, in the matte black Raptor paints that it's in, just gives it a very sinister look, and at night, because of the type of paint, you cannot see it at all. Literally, it's just like some lights floating along. The person that owns this said that to me just last night, and yeah, when we went back out to the car park, he was spot on. It's just like some lights floating. You really do not see the vehicle. The dip beam is on a foot button like older cars used to be, which I prefer. I really like that. I don't know why manufacturers stopped doing that, because I think it's great. I've had cars in the past with that, and it's brilliant. Yeah, the seat belts in this are a very weird thing. You have this bit which clips in down here, but then you also have a pull-out bit here which also clips in down here. So it's a 3-point seat belt, but in 2 stages, which is very bizarre. Starts up lovely. Obviously when cold, the fuel tank's 26 foot away, so it takes a little bit to pull everything through to the carb, but yeah, normally in a road test I'd go on about heel and toe. Obviously this is an automatic, so it's irrelevant. The handling characteristics, characteristics, the throttle response, all that sort of thing, how well it, the cornering and all sorts of things. But all of that is completely irrelevant with this vehicle. For anything other than the purpose in which it was created, carrying the dead, the vehicle's completely ludicrous. It defies all logical reasons for having a vehicle. It's not fast, it's not economical, it's not practical, it's reasonably comfortable, but there are a lot more comfy cars out there. And certainly over here in the UK on our small little roads, there is just no logical reason for having one of these cars. But I don't care. I want one. I want one now. Classic cars aren't about logic. In fact, logic plays no real anything to do with it at all. I mean, by all stretches of logic, my Corvette is irrelevant. It's not comfy, it's not that quick, it doesn't handle that well, it's not that economical, it's not that practical, there's no logical reason for the Corvette. But it puts a smile on my face every time I get in it. And that's enough. That's what old cars are about. Enjoyment. Putting that smile on your face. Having that car that you can't walk away from without looking back. The Corvette I can park up in town, go and sit in a coffee shop and just look at it out the window. Enjoy seeing it just as a piece of art, almost. Now this isn't perhaps the same good-looking vehicle as something like the Corvette. I wouldn't look at it as necessarily a piece of automotive sculpture, like you would the Corvette or an E-Type Jaguar or a 250 GTO Ferrari or something like that. But it has that look about it. It has a sinister element that is just amazing. As I've said before, just the way people interact with the vehicle. There's a love-hate element to it, with, as I said, either people being truly horrified seeing this go past, or just absolutely loving it. And when they see the caskets in the back, I have been told to be very careful and not call it a coffin. Apparently people get very upset. But when you get people see that, especially if there's a shovel or something by the side of it and a bit of dirt, some people love it, but other people, they are just truly horrified, almost to the point I'd say some people are almost traumatized by it, which I think is just hilarious. You can just sit back in this, waft along, arm on the armrest, finger on the bottom of the steering wheel, and just cruise along. You forget you're not going that quick, and you really don't care. It is a bit like a boat. You turn the steering wheel, then you wait for something to happen, and it does, eventually. You certainly wouldn't call it precise. Feel? Don't be silly. There's no steering feel. You've got no idea really what the wheels are doing. It's not in the remotely bit communicative. It is a boat. A land yacht, as they were once called. That bends there in my everyday car, I can happily do that at well over 90. 35 to 40 seemed about the quickest I'd want to go round there really in this. But it's not the point of these, is it? It's not a car to go hooning around the back lanes in. That's what I've got the pizza for, when I can get it on the road. to have a laugh, cruise around in, see people's reactions, transport Sinclair C5s, and just enjoy the waft. Enjoy the ease of driving without worrying about feel, etc. So 30 mile an hour, just for a laugh. Yeah, that will get up and go when you want it to. That one 30 to 50 mile an hour acceleration has probably cost me 20 quid, but you know, it's yeah, you know, it's not something you want to do regularly, but it will get up and go when you want it to. It's surprisingly quick for 3 tons, but then that's all that low down torque. These big Cadillac motors, you can do wonderful things with them, and you can get some serious power and some incredible torque figures out of them. But you don't really need to in this. It's all that power would be wasted, because unless you're in a dead straight line, you can't use it. I don't know what this does to the gallon. Not a lot. 10, 12-ish, I guess. UK imperial gallons, that is. You know, probably 14, 15 US gallons. But again, does it matter? Not really. It's not an everyday car. It's not a car, you know, you're going to do big miles in. So, well, I think I've probably waffled on enough now. I love this vehicle. I think it's absolutely wonderful. That's just got the right look about it. It's nice to drive. It has, I don't know, as I've said, there's no logic about old cars, is there? It's just, some of them get under your skin, and this one's got under mine. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. Is this one of those vehicles you love, or are you horrified by it? How would you react when you saw it go past on the road? So feel free to like the video, share it around your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. And come back soon for another video. Ta-da!